Hey guys, and welcome to Module 2 Seasons and Cycles. So, I just want to give you an overview of the content of this module um, and a little bit more about what to expect from Module 2. Okay, so Seasons and Cycles, what is this all about? We are exploring why yoga for women is different in different life stages and how this applies. We're also going to look in depth at the menstrual cycle, the lunar cycle, and also living in season with nature and how this applies to our yoga practice and our yoga lifestyle. Okay, so we're going to look at the physiological and psychological changes that we all go through as women throughout each transformational life stage. And we're going to examine that through the maiden, mother, enchantress, and crone, the triple goddess, but obviously we have the enchantress too. So, through this model, we are going to look at the various female archetypes present in our lives through each stage and where these become apparent, not only in the life stages, but also in where we are every day, every month, throughout the month as well. I will take you through the history of women in yoga and their role in yoga today. So, we're going to be uncovering mythology, looking at the divine feminine, the goddesses, and how this is important in your feminine yoga practice too. We're also going to learn about natural rhythms, honoring those rhythms, and living in tune with our body and with nature, and the benefits that this provides our overall wellness. This is absolutely essential for living a yogic lifestyle. All right. We're going to dive deep into working with the lunar and menstrual cycles to align with nature. And we're also going to look at charting our moon centers too. We're going to look at yoga practices for each stage of the menstrual cycle throughout the month. And if we're not menstruating, we're looking at the lunar cycle. We are going to learn how to chart our menstrual cycle alongside the lunar cycle and the benefits of doing this too, in case you're wondering why. We're also going to look at the Yoga Belly Sadhana of sense, breathe, move, and sleep to work with women throughout the menstrual cycle. So, for each stage of the month. And we're going to dive into the anatomy and physiology of that menstrual cycle and what happens to us as women physically and emotionally throughout the month, and how we can tune into and harness that energy instead of being overwhelmed with it and fighting against our natural instincts. So, we're going to basically look at optimizing our yoga practice and lifestyle and self care throughout the year. And we're going to look at alleviating common female conditions such as things as cramps and PMS using our yoga practice. Okay. We're going to uncover the benefits of living in season as well. So, touching upon seasonal yoga and seasonal yoga practices. And this also involves looking at the wheel of the year and how to adapt your yoga practice. So, contents for this module, we're going to begin with I would like you to watch why the right yoga practice has extra benefits for women. It's an hour long. Pop through to the parts that are important and relevant to you. I think this is a really important starting point to understand why a feminine yoga practice is so important for all of us. Then moving on to your goddess archetype. Okay, so we have a quiz here for you. The PDFs take a little minute to load. And we're going to look at which archetype you embody. Now, obviously, this can change throughout your life. Which goddess are you? So, a few questions. This is a fun quiz. Don't take it too seriously, but it does give you a nice idea where you're at in life and which deities or goddesses you can be focusing your yoga and meditation practices on to embody those characteristics. Okay, so it's just multiple choice quiz. We'll discuss it in the group if you're doing it live. And I've also included some further recommended reading if this is something you're really interested in. And it is very interesting, so I'm sure you will be. Here I talk about her story or the history of women in yoga and also the triple goddess, although there are 4 archetypes, as I mentioned. So please watch this lecture, super important and very, very interesting. Another quiz, is your menstrual cycle normal? So this is where it becomes interesting because so many of us are either unaware of our menstrual cycle or try to ignore it as much as possible because this is what society has told us to do. So we are going to identify using this quiz, again, a quick quiz to give us an idea if there could be some problems with our menstrual cycle and what we could be doing about that. Okay. I give you an overview of the menstrual cycle, what's happening at each stage, from menstruation all the way through ovulation, the luteal stages, etc., taking you through what these stages look like, what they feel like, and what's actually happening inside the reproductive organs at that time. Then we move on to something I bang on about an awful lot, the moon. All right. What relevance does the lunar cycle have to our menstrual cycle? And what the hell does that have to do with our yoga practice? So, two fantastic lectures here just to really fill you in all of that. The next thing we have here is an overview of the physical, spiritual, and archetypal meanings of your cycle. So, this is a really nice reference. You can print it out. So, for example, we have the moon phase, waxing phase before ovulation in our menstrual cycle. This relates to the maiden, spring, air. So, we'll talk more about this when we talk about the chakras and the koshas and how all of these elements relate to each other. I also explain how long each stage is, what to expect in the body, any emotions or energies you might be feeling at that time. And this helps you plan as well. So if you are using the Yoga for Life journal, which you should be during this course, it will again help you identify where you're at and plan for the various types of the month, tuning in to your natural energy levels. You will find information here on how to sync your menstrual cycle with the moon. Very exciting stuff. Some really simple stuff you can do there. And also charting the 11 moon centers. Okay, so this is a Kundalini yoga practice that I find absolutely fantastic. And I'll just take you through each of these and again, the relevance to your yoga practice and lifestyle. We will walk through yoga throughout the stages of the menstrual cycle. So we will look at asana modifications throughout the month. So all of the Yoga Belly's 29 postures, which are we using, which are we avoiding. You also have a document you can download. So you have the slides here as well of that lecture. Okay. If you prefer to read the slides or watch the video. You also have additional pointers and quick reference. Hold on, I'll just show you here. So this is some additional pointers about different stages of menstruation, short videos I've put together for you. Modifications. So these are modifications for each posture. Is it contraindicated during menstruation? What adaptations can we offer? And this is a great one to print out and keep, okay? Another one I've given you here is some information specifically on yoga and self-care during menstruation, during the period. All right. So we're looking at things like cramps, nutrition, what's happening with the moon, generally during the new moon, and just a bit more information about our period there. Okay. Another extra we've chucked in here, not chucked in, considered and popped in because it's very important. Seed cycling, all right. And this is from my Fix Your Period program. So seed cycling is a very useful way, or seed rotation is a great natural way to balance your hormones throughout the month as well. Okay. So it's all about natural and yogic processes and lifestyle choices. Moving on to yin and yang, we're looking at the concepts of yin and yang. Most of you will be aware of that, but it's a quick overview if you are not. And then we're moving into an introduction to seasonal yoga and living in tune with the earth seasons and seasonal yoga. So we've looked at living in tune with what's going on in our internal seasons, and now we're tuning in to nature. So we're taking that back out again, okay? So lots of information here. You have the slides on this as well. Why do we experience seasons? What's happening in each of the seasons? Also, the wheel of the year too. So all about honoring the wheel of the year. The solstices as well. Okay, so the equinoxes, all of these things, all the different parts of the year. And then we have more information on actually adapting your practice by the wheel of the year as well. Okay. So during the equinox, balancing poses are appropriate, for example. Then we're moving on to, so we touch upon each of the Yoga Belly styles of yoga as well. So this is talking about Lunar by Yoga Belly, just telling you the concept, why it's there, and what it's all about. And we have various yoga practices from our yoga teachers. That's live class recordings. You have more information. This is the slides on Luna as well. More live classes there for you to watch. And then your homework, further reflection and study, just as we did in module 1. Okay, so what you're looking to have achieved by the end of this module. You can watch the video recap. If you're joining live, it will be a new one. Otherwise, you can watch this one where I recap modules 1 and 2, which we do together. Again, your Zoom links are in here. Link to your live class practice, my recap of the entire module. This will be the live one, your assessment for module 2, and your feedback form. So huge amount of information to go through there as well. Remember, guys, please do it in your own time. It's all there for you. If you have any questions at all, contact myself or your senior teacher.